This is something that every Turkish person, every Russian person, like every person who lives under like the oppressive thumb of any kind of authoritarian rulership, this is a feeling that people know very well. This is a feeling that I experienced my whole life growing up, where you're like, I hope there is some kind of divine intervention here. It never happens, okay? That's all I'm going to say. Evil never dies. It never actually ends up happening. All of your wishes inevitably give these guys more life, I feel like. I mean, look at Dick Cheney. He's still alive and kicking, you know? I'm saying it. Wait, is it live? Is it live? Is it live? Is it live? It's not live, bro. Why are y'all lying to me? It's not live. Where is he? Where's the announcement? Someone send me a link that works. Announcement bingo. Okay, there it is. Where is it? Are you guys baiting me? Are you guys baiting me? Are you baiting me? Are you baiting me? Is he actually live? Or is he dead? I loved Sanctuary on Netflix. That guy, for the record, that guy that I'm training with in that video that we just watched, he actually was one of the professional trainers on Sanctuary on Netflix. Yeah, it's not live yet. Y'all are such liars, bro. Oh my God. Oh my God. Why do you do this to me? Why do you do this to me? I started early today because I was waiting for this, okay? And I know it's going to be some random shit, but you know, this is a brief moment of hope and a brief moment of solace for everybody in this goddamn country. Ironically enough, just as is the case with everything else, of course, this would yield tremendous pain and would be far worse, okay? This would yield tremendous pain. It would be far worse for the country overall, because even this one blip of goodness that many people are demanding, many people are desperately holding on to, make no mistake, would yield a full-blown Peter Thiel takeover. What do I mean by this? J.D. Vance is Peter Thiel's blood boy, okay? J.D. Vance is Peter Thiel's slave, okay? And J.D. Vance is not exactly a telegenic figure. He is not going to be able to, in my opinion, and perhaps I might be wrong on this, he is not going to be able to captivate the attention of the large swaths of the populist MAGA base in the same way that Donald Trump was able to command them. This means that the only opportunity for J.D. Vance, and by way of J.D. Vance, Peter Thiel, to actually directly take over the levers of power is if Donald Trump passes away. Because he will not win a popular contest unless the Democrats f the bag up once again, and they just might. You already know how the Democrats behave. So because of that reason, even though this is like something that we are all excited for, something that we're all waiting with bated breath, ironically enough, as is the case with every other damn thing in this goddamn country, Donald Trump's untimely demise, while expected and would cause jubilation, would still allow for worse things to come. Trump's voice with Scott Jennings.
I'm very disappointed in him.
Trump's voice in his interview with Scott Jennings this morning, something's not right. No, he sounds like that on the morning calls all the time.
And I always had a great relationship. I'm very disappointed. Thousands of people are dying. They're not Americans that are dying, but they're Russians and they're Ukrainians, and there's thousands, and it's a war that makes no sense. And it would have never started if I were president, and that's what bothers me even more, because the election was totally rigged, and it's a shame. We'll see what happens, but I'm very disappointed in President Putin.
This is Donald Trump's IG voice, dude. You know how like I have an IG voice in the mornings and everybody always makes fun of me for it because like I sound groggy, but also I guess I sound sexy. That's what Trump's IG voice sounds like. That's what Trump's IG voice looks like. That's just what it is.
I can say that.
Yeah, C-SPAN is saying it got pushed to 2:30. Now, remember, he's not dead. Couple things I have to relitigate here. While I am memeing about Donald Trump's demise here, I hate to be the bearer of bad news for many Americans here that are tuning in tuning in with the excitement. But he is not dead. Okay, he's not, and he's most likely going to be announcing some lame ass bullshit. Ken Leakenstein claimed that it was actually the Space Force headquarters like moving to Alabama or some shit like that. But having said that, we can still derive a lot of satisfaction by picking apart every little thing that he's doing in this announcement. Live. Trump announces Space Command is moving from Colorado to Alabama. So that's what it is. Oh my God, 40,000 people are waiting. Dude, I'm telling you, mad people are dude, this is like, it's gotta hurt. Trump is clued in on everything that's going on in the social media sphere. That's gotta be crazy that this wasn't live for like 7 days. And basically everyone's like, oh, he's dead. And they're celebrating and they're excited at the prospect of his demise. That is crazy, bro. Look at this chat. Look at this chat. Look at the AP chat. 6-7, he died. Why is everybody spamming 6-7 now? 6-7. Release the Epstein files. 2 weeks, clots and prayers. I hope RFK Jr. is in charge of the health maintenance of the orange clown. Oh, that's awesome. He delayed it to get higher ratings. It's gotta, I'm telling you right now, it's gotta hurt him at least a little bit that this many people are excited. This many people are this excited at like even just a crumb of hope that he might be dead is crazy. He's literally just trying to take views away from Mafiathon 3. True. He delayed it to get high. Is there really anything Thiel could get Vance to do that couldn't already get Trump to do anyways? Yes. Yes, absolutely. I think Peter Thiel is even scarier in a position of that much power than even Donald Trump. Like Peter Thiel, it's hard to explain it because like Trump is such a major villain, right? He is such a massive villain. And I totally get that. I understand why people are, they pay close attention to what he's doing. He's the president and he is a horrible monster. Peter Thiel is even a level above that. Like it doesn't, like Peter Thiel is like literal Satan incarnate. I don't know how to describe it beyond the fact that he looked at his own, he looked at his own career and he was like, oh, I'm going to watch Lord of the Rings. What am I going to name my mass surveillance apparatus off of? The villain in Lord of the Rings. He drinks the blood of children. He literally has blood boys. Like, that's not even a joke. Tread lightly talking about Thiel. To be honest, that shit freaks me out. Yeah. Like, when we say billionaires are lizard people, at least like Mark Cuban tries to make a decent effort to come across like a human being, right? Everyone has their quirks, like, oh, Warren Buffett still lives in his old home, like from when he was a child, and still drives the same Subaru or whatever, which is like freakish in my opinion, because like you're a massive billionaire, multi-billionaire. What the f do you have that much? Why do you do that level of wealth accumulation if you're not even going to use it, dumbass, right? But like they try to behave like humans in some ways. Peter Thiel cannot. He cannot. There is no world where Peter Thiel goes in front of a camera and doesn't come across like a lizard person wearing a human skin suit. It's just crazy. Just a straightforward tech dystopia harbinger who is terrifying. Even more terrifying than Trump. Because like he also has like Trump is an insane narcissist and the type that will basically use like pre-existing white supremacist constructs to his advantage to hold on to the levers of power, right? But Peter Thiel is like a true believer. Like he is committed to the idea of a techno-feudalist dystopia. And he will do it. He will do everything in his power to do it. Like that's guys who are real believers are the ones you have to be actually worried by, if that makes sense. I guess at that level of like villain behavior, it doesn't really matter that much because like either Peter Thiel by way of Donald Trump is still going to be holding on to the levers of power or he's going to do it directly. But it's just terrifying, man. I mean, here, yeah, look.
I suffered through Ross Douthat's interview with Peter Thiel because I'm a sick person. And
I mean, look, this is a great first look into how Peter Thiel operates. Now, this is, of course, the bulwark. This is, it's just, I don't really care about what he has to say, but here, let's just watch.
Because I'm a sick person. And there's one clip that's been going around, and in case you guys haven't had this, just the experience of being able to listen to this moment, I want to share it with all of you.
You would prefer the human race to endure, right? You're hesitating.
Yeah, well,
yes,
I don't know. I would.
This is a long hesitation. This is a long hesitation.
There's so many questions implicit in
Should
this.
the human race survive?
Yeah.
Like, that's a demon right there too. Like, that's a straightforward war criminal, right? That's Bill Kristol. He owns the Bulwark. And like, to get a better understanding of like how psychotic Peter Thiel is, like, that's the type of shit that like other former neocon war criminals look at and go, this guy is a real scary guy. And he's not saying that because he's not saying that to present himself as woke or whatever. He's just saying that because that's how scary Peter Thiel is.
Some really hard-hitting journalism from Ross Doubt there. Ross gets some slings and arrows around these parts, but he's asking the tough questions. Do you want the human race to endure? Peter Thiel. It seems like basically the answer is no, but he doesn't want to say it. So he comes around to yes after 30 seconds. This is the man that made it, that set the vice president in place.
From the GOAT, Nathan J. Robinson. What is this? Peter Thiel presenting an autobiographical lecture series. You are warmly invited to a series of 4 lectures by Peter Thiel addressing the topic of the biblical Antichrist. Yeah, he's just going to sit there and talk about himself. I am the biblical Antichrist. Hello. Welcome. I want to bring about the demise of the planet. Like, Peter Thiel is the type of when you watch like an anime or when you watch like a movie and you're like, this villain's entire ambition is to destroy the world and it doesn't make any sense. Like, this is a written out villain that clearly has no like understandable, decipherable human motivation here. It's just like, oh, you want to be evil for the sake of evil? Peter Thiel is the closest analog to that in the real world. Like, the type of villain that you say is unrealistic and just like simply wants to destroy the entire planet for the sake of destruction alone is something that you would look at in a comic book and go, this is kind of stupid. Like, what is the motivation here, right? Like, there needs to be something more here. Peter Thiel is the guy who, unironically, is the real world example of that. It's pretty shitty. It's pretty terrifying. Yeah. He's live, is he? It's 11:15. He's supposed to be live at 11:30. They pushed it back 30 minutes. Alex Karp as the new VP pick when Vance takes over. Alex Karp is another one of those like tech dildos that I just despise. God, I have so much hatred in my heart for these guys. They're so goddamn annoying. They are so unbearable. Speaking of which, by the way, sometimes the administration that absolutely sucks can get something good. Okay? It turns out digital content creators are among the dozens of occupations that the Treasury Department is deemed eligible for the no tax on tip deduction. They explicitly name streamers, influencers, and podcasters as illustrative examples. Produce and publish on digital. Dude, Donald Trump's big, beautiful bill, no tax on tips provision, straight up is a tax cut for some of the biggest dildos in American society. People like myself. What the are we doing here? What are we doing? This is insane. It's actually insane, dude. It's actually insane. View count high. Are you botted? Yes. I'm botting myself. Or because this is a day of celebration because people think Donald Trump might have died. Who knows? I mean, if you look at the number of chatters in here, you will realize that there is 40,000 active chatters in here. So probably not. There is a limit and it helps small streamers more. Don't try to justify any of this, okay? Don't try to justify any of this shit. Bro heard Andrew Schultz was upset and gave him a tax cut. Yeah. Keep the tinfoil hat on. Is he tinfoil hat on? Is he dead? Is that why he's pushing it back? No. He's just always late. Open presents. Thank you for the 25 gifted. Let's go. Does JD Vance know who you are? I hope not. Anyway, this would be funny. Why is your viewership high? Not gonna lie, yesterday's it was 28K to 35K. Now it's 45K. Guys, do you not understand that when world-changing events are happening, people tune in? Like a lot more people tune in. Is this news to you? It's like coming in on the day of the election and being like, why is there 300,000 people in here? Are they bots? No, it's because people are tapped in. They think they want to know if Trump is sick. Okay, that's it. There are 50,000 people waiting in the Associated Press lobby here. Okay, 51,000 people are watching the Associated Press with the hopes that they will see. With the hopes that they'll get a glimpse of whether or not Donald Trump is actually stroked out, okay? It's a pretty big deal for a lot of people, it seems. Part of the reason why I started earlier today, because it's a big deal for me too. I want to see it. I want to join in on the fun. I want to entertain the blue anon, blue MAGA shit for a brief moment, okay? I want to have fun. Austin show, I'm tapped in. I don't usually watch. Shut up, Austin. Don't act like it. Had all my coworkers watching on January 6th. This is like you're more excited to this than eating pastries? Yeah, because I'm lame, okay? Sometimes I don't want to give more views to fashion, so I tune into your stream because I know you'll be watching. Yeah. He went to heaven yet? I don't know how to tell you this, but if Donald Trump is going somewhere, it is certainly not heaven, okay? Let me tell you. I don't think if heaven and hell is real, I don't think Donald Trump is going to the good one, okay? He is definitely not going to the good one. Yeah. He's going to like the lowest layer. If he's going to the bad one, he's definitely going to the bad one, and he's going to the lowest layer that you can go to. Yeah, he's gonna be down there with all of his besties like Jeffrey Epstein. Your breakdown of these as they happen are also why people tune in? Yes. Unless he has said the Shahada and found the light of Allah at the end of the tunnel, and he will be going to Jannah, but I don't think he did. I don't think he could get it out of his mouth. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. That's right. May Allah awaken the people to the evil doings of Israel and the United States of America. Does anyone have that clip? Here, let's just play it again. It's my best. It's the best. It's the best. It's the best. This is Trump's best moment.
May Allah awaken the people and help them to see the evil doings of Israel and the United States. May Allah awaken
the richest 1% account for more than 1/3 of all unpaid taxes. I shit you not. It's just the least surprising bit of information I've gotten in this chat. No AI used, by the way. Yeah, no, he did say that. Like, that is real. He did say that. News about Donald Trump just broke. Alex Jones, Mao Zedong edit. Those are the two edits that live in my mind. I mean, this is not even an edit, honestly. Literally deja vu. What is this? This is live, but that doesn't mean Dark Brandon is there yet. He is notoriously late. Unlike me, I serve the top of the hour ad break exactly. Wow, back when. Look at that. Totally separate time. Back when I used to run ads. Now the Piker Broadcasting Service is ad-free. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. The Piker Broadcasting Service is sponsored by you, the viewers, for you, the viewers. No more ad breaks at the top of the hour. No more ad breaks at all. It is completely ad-free, with the rare exception of a sponsored gaming broadcast. The Piker Broadcasting Service is sponsored. It's September. If you guys would like to subscribe and support the show, you can for $6 or for free with a Twitch Prime. Twitch Prime is free. All right, when is this starting? 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 Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Get in, get in, get in, get in. Exactly on time. Okay. Right on time, right on cue at the top of the hour. There's a 3-minute ad break. If you want this uninterrupted Biden special, okay, then all you need to do is subscribe for $6 over free with the Twitch Prime by connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account, where you get 1 free Prime subscription a month. You can use it on your favorite broadcaster. Hopefully that's me. He was almost an hour late to his 3-minute speech this morning. Yeah, he's never on time. He's so gross. Like, he is so notoriously late this was me talking about Brandon time, dude. It's crazy. Amira Links, thank you for the 10 community gifted subs. Oh,
my fellow Americans.
Oh, he is on time. 3-minute ad break now. Twitch Primes are free. My first time in the chat, but I watch you on YouTube. I was wondering if you've heard about the AI 2027 article. I watched the video and I'm curious about your opinions on the geopolitical implications. No, I have not watched that video. Will you watch the 10 p.m. China Victory Day parade? Is it at 10 p.m. Pacific? If so, no. The answer is no. I won't be live at that point. That's crazy. I don't know why. I don't know why he's 30 minutes late. In 6 minutes. In 6 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, 6 minutes. And Donald Trump is going to be live. And he's going to be talking about the shittiest, most irrelevant thing, by the way, which is even funnier. Because, like, this is billed as his announcement for Space Command moving from Colorado to Alabama. But obviously, that's not the reason why people are excited. People are excited because they want to see exactly how sick this puppy is. Okay? He actually just died. Oh, my God. Imagine. He just got so excited. I mean, my favorite conspiracy theory on this is the claim that he got reverse John Fetterman. Like he stroked into woke. Okay. You know how like John Fetterman stroked into anti-woke and became like the #1 defender of Israel? I feel like the stroke just like reverses people's brain a little bit. And Donald Trump got stroked into woke. And now people are, now all of the people around him are panicking because they're like, he just keeps saying, we're going to end Israel over and over again. He keeps saying he wants to seize the means of production. It's actually very odd that they shut down Pennsylvania Avenue in front of the White House. That's not normal. Can see it in the AP feed. Street is only clear with Secret Service vehicle in it. Is that normal? Is that abnormal? I feel like they do that shit all the time. It's DC. People were talking about how abnormal it is that like around Walter Reed is actually blocked off or something. And it feels like this is just a normal part of it's just a normal part of the process, right? Like that's just how it is. They just do that sometimes. They be doing that sometimes. Am I wrong? I hear on the streets that he's planning on introducing the Order of Lenin medal. Yeah. Yeah, we got memes for days though. Trump's team today.
Guys, he says he still needs to make his speech. What do you think?
Can he do the speech?
Can he do the speech? The demented, piss-mad King of England?
He could say anything. He could tell everyone he's Barbara Streisand. No, I think we have to drop it, right? Okay.
But at the very least, he should be on stage.
It would be great to get the body up there.
Okay, we push it as late as we can, and maybe if we just get him on stage, that'll be enough.
Stroke the woke, please. Oh my God, that'd be so sick. Because he does have an incredible command over the American economy and has a tendency to just like bully corporations into doing his bidding in a way that I wish the Democrats would do. And I am going to kind of talk about that a little bit today. The White House right now. Yeah, they're just trying to hastily put him back together. You know, it's going to work. But I will say, like, even the Intel stuff, like 10% of Intel, like these are things that Bernie Sanders advocated for during the CHIPS Act, right? Like this is something that the American left, a modest social democratic proposal has been advanced by the American left, the left flank of the Democrat Party for a long time. And Trump is the one who just got it done. No questions asked. He just straight up went to Intel and was like, you're giving us 10%. All this grant money that we're offering you is it amounts to 10% of Intel. It's ours now. And the reality of the matter is stuff like that is not socialism necessarily, but it is actually a higher degree of socialization. And it's one that honestly, the Democrats and the Republicans would pounce on if it was actually any Democrat doing this. If it was Joe Biden doing this, they'd be calling for his assassination. But when Donald Trump does it, it's fine because Donald Trump just does things, right? And this is why I constantly go back and forth on obviously being incredibly angry at the horrible things that Trump has brought to this country, while also simultaneously feeling incredibly jealous because, like, he gets to do this shit that I wish, you know, a competent left leadership would be able to do. He gets to move and shake things, oftentimes in the direction of not an overall common good, but usually in the direction of just making things worse. But of course, in that process, you got people like gruesome Governor Gavin Newsom. We got a minute out. We're a minute out from the Oval. We're a minute out. Wait, they pushed it back again? Or is it live? Hold on. Watch this. I'm going into the future. I'm going into the future. Okay. It's not, it's just, okay, Psycho Mantis, chill. No. Can you take us through what the first 100 days of a JD Vance presidency would look like? It's just death, destruction. Did you see them throwing black bags out of the White House window? I heard about that yesterday, but I don't know what the fuck that was about. Yeah, I know this is what he's going to talk about. Okay, stop being a Debbie Downer. I know, Farah, this is what he will talk about. Not that he's dying. Of course, he's not going to go out and make an announcement to be like, I'm dying. Like, that's a joke. But yes, of course, he is. This announcement, as the Associated Press's live stream also has declared, this announcement is about Space Command moving from Colorado to Alabama. Having said that, however, the reason why a lot of people want to see Donald Trump after 7 days of media blackout is because they think he is dying, and this is a way for people to figure out whether he's actually dying or not. That's it. It's that simple. Updates. Trump expected to make an announcement on moving Space Command. The latest on the tariffs. Trump is likely to be asked about last week's U.S. Appeals Court ruling that found most of his tariffs to be illegal. The court allowed tariffs to remain in place. And also on top of that, his military conquest, his domestic application of military as a domestic policing force was also found to be illegal, specifically in California. So there's that too. So there's a bunch of stuff that he's like pissed off about. Postponed again. Stop. CNN diving into the conspiracy. Yeah, I don't have an article. Do we have a paywall remover on this? Let me see if I can zap it. I guess is black. Oh God. How Trump's health conspiracy theories went wild on social media. I mean, it's fine. It's not postponed again. I mean, it's not live. We're 2 minutes in and it's not live. So I don't know. It's pack watch time, but one more zap and it'll be good. Oh, Brian Stelter wrote about it. President Donald Trump's political success derived in part by being omnipresent on every screen. So his recent absence from public view provoked all kinds of speculation. Trump dead became a trending topic over the long Labor Day weekend, fueled perhaps by liberal wishful thinking and online influencer boredom. I saw a tweet that was so funny where someone said, oh, now I understand why all the Republicans were fantasizing about Biden dying because this shit's a lot of fun. And yeah, it is. Okay? It is. Except for me, we did that for both. We did that for Brandon and we did that for Trump. We like to have fun all the time. Okay? Come to the right side. Come to the good side. Trust me, it was fun with Brandon too. Old ass holding on, doing the old person death grip on the levers of power long after he should have stopped doing that a long time ago. Okay. The viral storm was best summarized through the post of one self-proclaimed psychic with more than 125,000 followers on TikTok. Trump is actually going to die on the 28th of August, she predicted in one video last week before plugging a beauty product. Photos showed Trump leaving the White House to visit one of his golf courses on August 30th, but didn't dissuade the psychic. In between other profit-making product promotions, she insisted she was right and questioned the validity of the photos. She was far from the only one. Searching for Trump's name on TikTok resulted in related searches, is Trump dead or no? Yeah, get your money up, Queen. And Trump health symptoms. I'm going to tell you right now, this is, we got a lot of new friends in the chat, so I'll repeat this, but this is something that every Turkish person, every Russian person, like every person who lives under like the oppressive thumb of any kind of dictatorial or any kind of like authoritarian rulership, this is a feeling that people know very well. This is a feeling that I experienced my whole life growing up, where you're like, I hope there is some kind of divine intervention here. It never happens, okay? That's all I'm going to say. Evil never dies. Evil never dies. It never actually ends up happening. And all of your wishes, all of your dreams inevitably give these guys more life, I feel like. I mean, look at Dick Cheney. He's still alive and kicking, you know? Bolsonaro got COVID 58 times, okay? Bolsonaro got stabbed. Bolsonaro was doing caca out of his nose. They were sucking the poop directly out of his nose. That's how fucked up this man is, okay? He is a one-man poison. He is just like, he is a biohazard to be around. Still not dead, okay? That's it. These guys just never die. Evil never dies, okay? Your hatred fuels their lives, their lifeblood. So it is kind of funny though that like Americans have finally arrived at that method as well. The notion of like, man, it's just a maybe someone will kick the bucket, and it's just, you know, it's funny to experience it in both Turkey and now in America as well. Never thought I'd see that day. Okay, and yeah, that's where we're at. That's where we're at. It's an indication that we are unstable. I will say that much. Because, like, it's like this many people being able to actively point to, you know, someone's got to do it, and then have everybody understand exactly what that means is perhaps the greatest indication of how busted our structure is, how busted our system is, that people are like demanding divine intervention. You know, that's what I think. Hold on. I honestly need emotional support from this community for whatever the announcement is. Some people think it's a war announcement. Yeah, I mean, who knows? Who knows? He could just come out and be like, that's right, we're going to war with Venezuela, and Greenland is ours. We're going to war, not with Venezuela, but with Greenland. You know? At this point, is that too far-fetched? Like, honestly, anything is possible with Donald Trump. But yeah, with so many conspiracy theories, this one started with some crumbs of truth, including visible bruises on Trump's hand. More and more questions are being raised about Donald Trump's health. Democratic content creator Harry Sasson said in a video last week, zooming in on Trump's hand from different angles. Then, as CNN's Betsy Klein reported, Trump's public schedule went uncharacteristically dark last Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Some Trump opponents turned into investigators, posting unflattering photos of the president, highlighting his recent comments about wanting to get to heaven if possible, while advancing a theory that he was secretly sick. What happened next is oh my God. What happened next, it was a snowball effect. Sorry. I just got a text message from my travel agent guy who said that they found my rings at the hotel I stayed at a long time ago in New York, and I've been looking for them. It's so irrelevant to everything else. I know I can't be saying, oh my God, in front of 60,000 people like that while we're waiting for Donald Trump to be potentially found alive in the White House. I know. I'm sorry. I got excited for something good to happen in my life for once. Okay. No, it's not a scoop. I'm not farming. Shit. Abi bizi siktin 10 saniye. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Anyway. C-SPAN pushed it back to 3 p.m. now? Wait, what? They pushed it back again? Okay, he might be dead, bro. What the f*** is going on? Okay, that's crazy. Oh my Lord. Not enough makeup on the body. How often does he delay his speeches like this? Often. He's always late to shit. That's normal, but usually they just know how late he's going to be, so they don't give you like an active time, or they don't just like push it back 15 minutes at a time in 15-minute increments like this. That part is a little unique. That's a little weird, I think. Okay. Anyway, some Trump opponents turned into investigators. The fervor consumed X, TikTok, and other social media over the weekend, but the online energy was especially intense on Blue Sky. Many anti-Trump users who were repelled by Elon Musk's takeover of Twitter, now X, gravitated to Blue Sky as an alternative. And the site's algorithm surfaced posts from users fantasized about Trump passing away. The "Is Trump Dead" chatter felt all-consuming on Friday night, with people sharing jokes and memes of people dancing on a grave that didn't actually exist. David Dayen, friend of the show, David Dayen, executive editor of the American Prospect, referred to Trump's plan for a ballroom to be built at the White House and said, "The ballroom, it's a mausoleum." Popular liberal influencer known as JoJo from Jers observed the torn post and wrote, "Live your life in such a way that half the internet doesn't start planning block parties when they think you're dead." The incentives were clear. Memes and jokes at Trump's expense were rewarded with clicks, shares, and replies, in much the same way that MAGA media figures are incentivized to celebrate every move Trump makes. By Saturday, when Trump was seen by reporters and photographers, Democratic politicians started to dabble in the health speculation, knowing that it would garner attention. When Trump insulted Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker in a Truth Social post, Pritzker shot back on social media saying, "Why don't you send everyone proof of life first?" Conservatives on X criticized Pritzker for doing so, citing the assassination attempts against Trump in 2024. Oh, God, conservatives are so annoying. They're such smarmy little crybabies, bro. They are the biggest crybabies on the planet, and I can't stand these. Okay? I cannot stand conservatives. They are so goddamn soy. They literally openly fantasize about killing not only like Joe Brandon, kidnapping Joe Brandon. Some of them actively actually engage in the process of trying to kidnap or assassinate politicians, like that one conservative, David DePipe, that tried to kill Nancy Pelosi and then ended up hammering Paul Pelosi in the head. Like, they do all this shit. They do January 6th. They do all of this stuff. And then the moment that a liberal goes, "Hey, man, I really don't like the president, and if he's dead, then, like, that's a cause for celebration," they go, "Whoa! Whoa, whoa, whoa! How dare you? Sir? Excuse me. That's an old man that's a grandfather. That's a grandfather with grandchildren. Oh God, typical so-called liberal woke leftists once again. So much for the tolerant left once again. It's like, dude, shut the up. I see what you're posting yesterday. I see what you're posting today. Half of your policies revolve around like making up made up enemies in your mind and then somehow looping it back to killing Guatemalan migrants. And you're over here complaining that people are celebrating. Shut the up. Shut up. Jesus Christ. The official White House channel live stream is up. That means no more delays. Okay. I just don't understand like how these guys can behave. How these guys can behave like this. It's just so annoying. It's just so goddamn annoying. Anyway, over the weekend, as online sleuths scour photos of Trump for evidence of any frailty, the political scientist Ian Bremmer pointed out that obsessive scrutiny of a leader's health is a hallmark of authoritarian countries. I mean, it's true. That part is true, by the way. It's just something that I have experienced, and I never thought that I would experience it here in the United States of America. Like, when I was growing up, this was the meta, and it still is in Turkey. It's just so funny that now I'm 2 for 2, man. I'm 2 for 2, man. Grew up in Turkey, saw this shit with my own 2 eyes. Now I'm experiencing it again. It's crazy. It's just going to be a massive letdown when people realize that he's not dead, though, or even like remotely sick. People will still probably lean in heavily on the conspiratorial side. I've seen like Blue Anon go crazy over it. Okay. It's all your fault, dude. You need to move to Russia next. What do you mean? Russia is already there. What are we talking about? Russia is already there. Is it 2 Central Time? I think it's supposed to start now. Yeah, people are going to be fantasizing about like a body double type situation. I can see that. I can see that being like an angle here. I mean, I am noticing that this happened suspiciously close. Trump's sickness is suspiciously close to his close and personal limousine ride with a notorious poisoner, Vladimir Putin. It did happen like basically like 2 weeks ago? A little bit of Novacek, who knows? A little bit of fell out of the natural cause of death, fell out of the window. Fell out of the third story window type shit, you know? That's me. That's my blue anon. Blue Anabi. That's my blue anon conspiracy. Okay. That's the one I'm going with. Agent Krasnov. Agent Krasnov has been terminated. His contract has been terminated. How? By putting, some chatter said, putting Poison Ivy style lipstick on and then kissing him directly in the mouth in the limo. That's what he did. He put polonium on his lipstick and gave him the kiss of death. Natural defenestration. Yeah, sometimes when your contract is up, when you're a contracted hitter and your contract is up, they burn you, you know? They don't want you to be out there as a liability, revealing information about like your allegiances to KGB, to FSB. Also, there is a Gamba. Will we have a new vice president today?
Thank you very much. It's a very important day and an important announcement with great friends of mine. I think I can say
he looks so healthy.
this group is every one of them. I rate a 10. I can't always say that, even if they're Republicans, and these are Republicans, great Republicans. I want to thank you all for being here for this important announcement, 7 years in the making. As you know, this has been going on for a long period of time, and I am thrilled to report that the U.S. Space Command headquarters will move to the beautiful locale of a place called Huntsville, Alabama, forever to be known from this point forward as Rocket City. Okay, so Huntsville, Alabama.
God,
we love Alabama.
Live forever.
I only won it by about 47 points.
He's gonna live forever.
I don't think that influenced my decision, though, right? That didn't, right? But we had a lot of competition for this, and Alabama's getting it. Huntsville in particular. So congratulations, everybody. Katie, congratulations. This will result in more than 30,000 Alabama jobs and probably much more than that, and hundreds of millions of dollars of investment, and that's billions because it can't be millions, it's billions and billions of dollars. Most importantly, this decision will help America defend and dominate the high frontier, as they call it. I want to thank Secretary Pete Hegseth. He's doing a fantastic job. And Secretary of the Air Force, Troy
said, I hate modern medicine. This sucks.
Great job you're doing, Troy.
It does.
This is such a big deal. This
sucks.
is one that everybody wanted to know. What are you doing? I also want to thank Senators Katie Britt, and I want to give my condolences. Your grandmother, her grandmother just passed away. She was 100, right?
100, and she loved you, Mr. President.
Well, and she was very proud of you.
Thank you very much.
Very, very proud of you. So thank you, Katie.
What are the chatters saying? He's not doing a fantastic
to produce
job.
you indirectly.
Yes, he's healthy.
I can tell you she had to be. Tommy Tuberville, who's a great coach, and I won't say anything about what happened with Alabama football this weekend.
Let's leave that out.
But you're not used to that, right? You're not used to that. But Tommy, Auburn won, is right. They did. So you're happy. Tommy's been a great senator, as you know, and a fantastic guy all around.
Everyone is on cope mode. They're like, oh, this must be pre-recorded. Oh, this must be. He's reading. He's sticking to the script. That's unique. No, man, this is just
great, Mike. Representatives Barry Morrow.
Nothing happened to this. Is crazy.
Gary
Evil
Palmer
never
and
dies,
Dale
bro.
Strong. Thank you all very much, fellas. Appreciate it.
Let's see if it takes some questions, though.
We created, and I created, thing called Space Force, so important. You know, we were losing
My week is
the race in
ruined.
space very badly to China and to Russia. And now we're far and away #1 in space, and reestablish Space Com with a mission to protect American space assets and detect any threat to our homeland. We initially selected Huntsville for the Spacecom headquarters, yet those plans were wrongfully obstructed by the Biden administration.
That's right.
And as you know, they moved them to a different locale. And today we're moving forward with what we want to do and the place that we want to have this. And this will be there for hopefully hundreds of years. That's where it's going to be. I will say I want to thank Colorado. The problem I have with Colorado, one of the big problems, they do mail-in voting. They went to all mail-in voting. So they have automatically crooked elections. And we can't have that. When a state is for mail-in voting, that means they want dishonest elections, because that's what that means.
You do
So that
mail-in
played a big,
voting. You do
factor
mail-in
also.
voting. You have
In Huntsville,
always
Space
voted by mail.
Com will play a key role in building the Golden Dome, as you know. That's going to be a big thing. Everybody wants to be a participant in it. Missile Defense Shield, we're going to be having a Golden Dome that the likes of which nobody's ever seen before. The finest, the best. And by the way, Canada called. They want to be a part of it, and that'll be great. But Canada wants very much to be included in that, and we're going to work something out with them, I hope. It will also ensure that our technological capabilities, of which we're way ahead of anybody else, there's nobody close, remain unmatched long into the future. So I'd like to ask Secretary Hegseth to say a few words. He was very much a part of it. And really, everybody behind me was. Every one of these people would call me and lobby me. I said, Katie, I don't want to talk to you anymore. I know what you want. She said, that's right, sir. That's what I want. And they got their way. So I just want to congratulate. These are really special people. They're politicians in many ways, but they're great patriots, I think even more so than politicians. So they fought very hard to get it, and it's an honor to give it to Huntsville. Pete, say a few words, please.
Who cares?
Thank you,
Dude.
Mr. President. As usual, right place, right time, for the right reason. In your first administration, you established the Space Force at a time when we knew we had to be looking to that domain of space. You also reestablished Spacecom to ensure that priority was put in place, and you, through the Air Force, independently identified that Huntsville, Alabama was the right place to put it. For other reasons,
I'm gonna be honest. If there was such a thing, of like being able to wish ill upon someone and like curse them, I think Trump would just get lasered on this podium right now, because there is maximum amount of attention and eyeballs, maximum amount of prayers and thoughts in the opposite direction right now, tuning in from perhaps all around the world and certainly in the United States of America. So it is yet another clear-cut indication that one, evil never dies, and two, the power of manifestation does not work. Okay.
Will control the future of warfare.
Not to
today you're ensuring that happens.
yuck anybody's yum here, but I mean, look at him.
Mr. President, we are grateful for your leadership on this and
I
restoring
can't tell if
Space
his
Command
hand is
to
like
its
busted
rightful
or not.
home in
I'm
Huntsville,
trying to see.
Alabama.
I'm trying to get a
This
peek.
delegation has worked together, both chambers, both parties, to make sure that Huntsville
It kinda
was
looks a
the place
little
that Space
bit
Command called
powdery.
home. As was mentioned, obviously the Biden administration chose to make
He
this
has
political.
makeup on his hand
What we want
again.
to do is put the safety and security of Americans first. We want to make sure that our war fighter is put first, and we want to make sure that America continues to lead. And today, Mr. President, you've allowed that to happen. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Our war fighters.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. This is
Oh,
a great
God,
day
this is
for
one of the
our country,
dumbest
not just
motherfuckers
for
in
the state of
Congress.
Alabama. We need help in our military. We need to catch up. And as Secretary has said, we're not behind in space, but we know where we're at, and we need to expound on that. Now, this move will save the taxpayers $480 million. It's not going to cost more. It's going to cut $480 million.
Look. Oh my God, that shit looks busted, bro.
It'll be behind a secure wall
Look
in
at
Huntsville,
that.
Alabama, at Redstone Arsenal. We have 40,000 people there. We have the FBI there. We have missile defense there. We have NASA, Blue Origin, and SpaceX. It is the perfect place for Space Command. I would tell you today, and I've spoke with the president for the last 3 or 4 years about this. If I thought it needed to go somewhere else because I understand the security of our country, I'd be for that. But the best place for Space Command is Huntsville, Alabama, because what we have and what it means to this country is going to be so important. So thank you, Mr. President, for this, and we look forward to building a huge Space Command and having the Donald
he got hella makeup
J. Trump
on
Space Command
on
Center
this
in
one.
Huntsville, Alabama.
Absolutely.
JD, would you like to say something?
Sure.
Fake rubber
Mr.
hand, you got it
President, thank you. I'll be very
amputated.
brief here. I lobbied the president hard to put it in Ohio, but he said these people behind us, these Alabamas, are just too powerful and too persuasive. And so it's in Alabama, but as Tommy said, this is exactly the right place for Space Force and Space Command. I think Americans ought to appreciate the fact that you can't win the battle of the future unless you control the skies. The cyber security, the communications, the entire infrastructure of the battle in the 21st century will be in space. So it was a visionary move in the first administration for the president to set up Space Force, and I think an equally visionary move to make sure the Space Force is right where it should be in Huntsville, Alabama.
He
Thank
looks
you, sir.
just the same.
Gentlemen, anybody want to say anything? Would you like to say?
Mr. President, another promise made, another promise kept. You think about it, Redstone Arsenal is critical to national security. The president said when you were the 45th president, let's do what's right for national security. And today, that's exactly what we're doing. It's not because of this or that. It's because it's right for national security. You think of the 21 categories that were evaluated to determine what was best for national security. All indicators pointed back to Huntsville, Alabama, and Redstone Arsenal. We have the right people at the right place at the right time. Mr. President, on behalf of the people of the 5th Congressional District and all of Alabama, thank you for keeping your word.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. Anybody?
Let me just say, Mr. President, I want to say thank you. And thank you for doing this because it was the right thing to do. When they looked at all the numbers, Huntsville was the place to go, and like you say, it was unfortunately pulled out, but you made it right. So I want to just say thank you again for a grateful nation, and to the state of Alabama, we're very grateful. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you.
Now we got
Thank
the
you, Mr.
glaze
President.
sesh.
Throughout history, militaries has always understood that whoever could hold the high ground held the advantage. Space is the ultimate high ground. And what we're doing with moving the Space Command
Space is the ultimate high ground. Is very far up there
in that sphere. And it goes hand in hand with what we're trying to do with the Golden Dome and missile defense to defend against anyone else who tries to enter that sphere. So thank you, Mr. President.
Yeah, everyone is on board with the same meta. Look.
Thank you, Mr. President.
You can still see that there's major discoloration on Trump's right hand. Yeah, I mean, we're kind of coping a little bit.
Was number one, and for political reasons, it was moved out of our state. But, Mr. President, thank you for making priorities the defense and the warfighter and the safety of this nation. And in the big, beautiful bill, that Golden Dome will be built in Huntsville, Alabama, and we're grateful for that. Thank you.
Listen, as chairman of the Armed Services Committee, I care very much about what's most important.
Bro, that is the craziest hairpiece I've ever done seen in my life,
the president
dude.
held a nationwide competition to determine where we should have this command.
Like, you ain't fooling nobody.
If y'all remember at the end of that competition,
This
where
right
Alabama
here,
came
this
in
right
first,
here is
there
a
was lot of
typical Southern dandy lad who's like, there. I don't know what his name is, but I assume this this is the classic like Southern dandy who has a woman's name and might actually be, you know, in the closet. Many such cases.
That decided to make it political.
Many such cases. This is a staple. This is a Southern staple right here.
Fair competition, and it should be in Huntsville. So I want you to know I appreciate this president standing up and being strong and saying he's going to make this right and put it where it right.
Yeah, his name like Peyton, Ashley, Lindsay.
So thank you all very much. You are going to leave me alone now. You're not going to call me anymore and talk about this subject, right? You promise? They'll start something else. But I just want to congratulate you. It's a very big deal. When you come out and when you leave the room, you'll see that we just, over the last few minutes, literally shot out a a boat, a drug-carrying boat, a lot of drugs in that boat. And you'll be seeing that, and you'll be reading about that. It just happened moments ago, and our great general, head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, who's been so incredible, including what took place in Iran, knocking out potential nuclear power for a long time to come. I think within a month they would have had it if we didn't do what we did. But he gave us a little bit
All
of
this
a
talk about Huntsville,
briefing.
Alabama. Meanwhile, what aerospace
and
engineers
you'll
going to move
see,
to
and there's
Alabama?
more where that
Many
came
will.
from.
It's a low-cost site.
We have a lot
That's
of
the
drugs
reason why
pouring into
Boeing
our
is a
country,
facility in
coming in
Oklahoma
for a
and
long
shit.
time.
No, Alabama
we just,
already is a big.
this
I'm
came
pretty
out of
sure Alabama
Venezuela.
already has like a bunch of
Coming
facilities
out
there
very heavily
anyway.
from Venezuela. A lot of things are coming out of Venezuela. So we took it out, and you'll get to see that after this.
It's
after
also
this
good for the
meeting is over.
colleges as
Do you have
well,
any
because
questions,
then
please?
it beefs up their engineering programs.
Senator Tuberville talked about the cost savings
Yeah.
associated with his announcement.
Oh, he took out a boat in
Can you talk
Venezuela, he
about
said.
the strategic benefits by having Space Force Command headquartered in Huntsville.
Oh my God, he's gonna
Well, it
golf
just
with.
works because we
He's
have
gonna
so
golf with
much else
Tonkin
there.
it. He's gonna golf with
And
Tonkin
having a
Venezuela.
central, you could call it a central command, but it really is a command station. Also, even locationally, where it is, and when you think about flying distances, if you can save a half an hour as fast as some of these planes go and things go, and even the rockets go, if you can save by having the best location. So we went out, as you know, to experts, and we had 4 different groups of experts. They all said this was the best location. I also loved it from the standpoint, I know the people of Alabama, they are great people, work hard, and there's no games, and they're very proud of it. And I would say they fought harder for it than anybody else also. A lot of states, 5 states really wanted it, but they wanted it more. And I kid you not when I say that these people, they spoke to me a lot. That's all they wanted to talk about. They didn't want to talk about the weather. They only wanted to talk about moving to this location, moving to Alabama, Huntsville in particular. So we're honored to do it. They really wanted it badly, and they got it. Peter?
President Trump, something completely different, but about a big viral social media trend over the weekend. How did you find out over the weekend that you were dead? You see that?
No.
He doesn't like that. He did not like that question.
User engagements as of Saturday morning about your demise.
Oh, he does not like that. Don't tell Trump that people hate him.
Heard it's sort of crazy, but last week I did numerous news conferences, all successful. They went very well, like this is going very well. And then I didn't do any for 2 days, and they said there must be something wrong with him. Biden wouldn't do them for months. You wouldn't see him. And nobody ever said there was ever anything wrong with him, and we know he wasn't in the greatest of shape. No, I heard that. I get reports.
He hates
now,
that
you knew
shit.
I did an interview
It
that
reminds
lasted
me of
for
when he
about
saw
an
the
hour and a half with somebody. And
the
everybody saw that was
Cybertruck,
on
the Cybertruck
one of your
that Aiden Ross tried to
competitors.
give him.
I did numerous shows and also did a number of truths, long truths, I think pretty poignant truths. No, I was very active over the weekend. They also knew I went out to visit some people at the club that I own, pretty nearby on the Potomac River. And no, I've been very active actually over the weekend.
Of course
I
he
didn't
heard
hear
about
that
it.
one.
He
That's
was lying
pretty
when he said I
serious,
didn't hear about it, but I heard about
well,
it.
it's fake news. You know, it's just so, it's so fake. That's why the media has so little credibility. I knew they were saying like, is he okay? How's he feeling? What's wrong? I said, I just left. And it's also sort of a longer weekend, you know, it's Labor Day weekend. So I would say a lot of people know I was very active this Labor Day.
Oh yeah, extra
I had heard
active.
that,
Okay,
but I
he was
didn't hear
dead.
it to
He was
that
dead.
extent. Go
They
ahead,
brought
Peter.
him back alive.
We know that this country has a huge problem with school shootings. You have said that you're open to sending the National Guard pretty much anywhere. Would you ever consider sending an armed National Guardsman to every school?
What?
Well, we have a big problem with school shooting, but we also have thousands and thousands of schools that run perfectly. You know, they talk about you can do things construction-wise, and that's really I think nobody knows more about construction than me.
Mr.
You can
President,
build the
would you
construction
send
doors.
the
You can build
National
what
Guard
they
to
call
every
safety
school?
doors,
That's
where they lock
what
on
is
the
happening?
outside, the inside, and every place else. Well, but if one of these
This country
lunatics
is so
happens to
damn
get
insane, bro.
through, then the police can't get in. Then they're looking for keys all over the place, and it takes a lot of disadvantages to doing, spending billions and billions of dollars and actually making it safer in some way for some of these lunatics that we're dealing with. But I don't think so. I've thrown out the concept. We have great teachers that love our children. The parents love the children. Teachers love the children too. And if you took a small percentage of those teachers that were in the military,
bro, this isn't even access journalism, chatter. This is something different. This is like propaganda for dear leadership. Okay, this is different. This is like Modi used to do this, or still does this.
That's something that a lot of people like. I sort of liked it. I'd have to be studied, but they're trained. They know about weapons. You can't do it with every teacher because most teachers don't know, and But I always thought that would be an alternative. But it just we've had a lot of instances. Other countries have also. They have different kinds of problems than we have, but we do have. There's something going on. And it's a bad thing. Yes, please.
Have you spoken with President Putin in the past week? Have you spoken with President Putin in the past week?
Yeah, I don't want to. I have learned things that will be very interesting. I think in the next few days you'll find out.
Consequences if there isn't some type of announcement of a meeting with President Putin and President Zelensky?
Yeah,
and what could those consequences be?
We're going to see what happens. We're going to see what they do and what happens. I'm watching it very closely. Last week they lost 7,000 between the two countries, 7,313 soldiers to be somewhat exact.
Somewhat exact.
For no reason
that is a very
whatsoever. And they're
exact
Russian
number.
and they're Ukrainian, but they're soldiers. I want to see it end. Yeah.
Mr. President, have you decided you're definitely going to send National Guard troops to Chicago?
I didn't say when, but the answer is, look, Chicago's very interesting because I watched Pritzker get up and say we don't need help, we're safe. But 2 weeks ago, they had 6 people murdered, and they had 24 people hit by bullets. Last week, as you know, it was 7 people, 24 people hit, and 7 people died. And then over the last 2 days, that was the crown jewel. They had, I guess, 9 killed, 9 or 10 killed, and 50 hit with bullets. And you have this governor get up, who's a terrible governor. Probably he and Gavin Newsom would be probably the 2 worst and most naive. They're naive. Either they're naive or they're very untruthful. And he'll say, we don't want any protection. We don't need. So in the last 3 weeks, he's lost almost 20 people killed. There's no place in the world, including you can go to Afghanistan, you can go to places that you would think of. They don't even come close to this. Chicago is a hellhole right now. Baltimore is a hellhole right now. Parts of Los Angeles are terrible. If we didn't put out the fires, and I mean the other fires, the bullet fires, they didn't do a good job with. They should have had the water coming down, like I said. We had to release the water. We had to go in and release the water to L.A. It's so badly run. But if I didn't send the National Guard into Los Angeles, I would be making an announcement today. I'd be talking about Huntsville, and I'd simultaneously be saying, by the way, the Olympics is not coming to Los Angeles. If we didn't do that, and even the sheriff, the top law enforcement person in Los Angeles said, we could not have handled it without them. So that's what he said.
Make your mind up on Chicago, though?
Well, we're going in. I didn't say when. We're going in. When you lose, look, I have an obligation. This isn't a political thing. I have an obligation. When we lose, when 20 people are killed and 75 are shot with bullets. So let me tell you a little story about a place called D.C., District of Columbia, right here where we are. It's now a safe zone. We have no crime. It's in such great shape. You can go and actually walk with your children, your wife, your husband. You can walk right down the middle of the street. You're not going to be shot, Peter. You're safe. Everyone likes you anyway. They probably wouldn't do it. But it's so dangerous. And there are people in this audience you've suffered greatly. There are people in this audience that have been mugged and hurt badly, and they don't want to talk about it. Maybe you were very brave in talking about it. You made quite an impression on a lot of people. I appreciate it. But there were other people in this room that have been hurt very badly just walking down the street in D.C. Washington, D.C. is a safe zone right now. It's a safe city. The restaurants are open. They're booming. You can't get a restaurant. New restaurants are announcing that they're going to be open. This took place in 12 days. Now it's 15 days, but 3 days ago, it became what's known as a safe zone. It's a safe city. And this city was really bad, really, really bad. We took 1,600 people out, hardcore criminals that will not be coming back anytime soon. And we're very proud of it. You know, to have our nation's capital lose every week. You know, it was like years, many years, where every single week somebody was killed for many, many, many consecutive weeks. This went on for years. And then we had, last week it was announced that nobody was killed last week. And I made that announcement in front of a very distinguished leader of a country. And I'm saying proudly, ladies and gentlemen, nobody was killed in Washington, D.C. this week. He looked at me like, what's that all about? I say, yeah, we have a little bit of a crime problem, and we don't have a crime problem in Washington anymore. And the mayor has been very helpful, and the police commission has been very helpful, and it's been a great team. And I would love to have Governor Pritzker call me. I'd gain respect for him and say, we do have a problem. And we
Morning Joe was advocating for Pritzker to deploy the National Guard too, by the way. They're so insane over there. And
I saw it
MSNBC.
today on one of your networks, not a friendly network, except really the opposite, I would say, very unfriendly network. And they interviewed about 12 people on this morning. Most of them were African American, they were black. And they were saying, please, please, please let the president send in. These were people from Chicago. Please, we need help. We need help. We can't walk outside. We're petrified. If the governor of Illinois would call me up, I would love to do it. Now, we're going to do it anyway.
It's so funny because, like, if I hadn't just gone to Southside Chicago recently, I feel like there would probably be a lot more people in here being like, oh, it is, I heard it's a war zone. But it's like, it couldn't be further from the fucking truth, man. It is so annoying.
One of the worst, one of the most unsafe places anywhere in the world. But, you know, we took care. This was a beautiful thing that happened in Washington because we showed that it could be done. And this wasn't just sending big, strong guys, and they are big and they are strong. You know, we had a great decision from the Supreme Court that had to do with sort of talent. It had to do with you are put down based on merit. You can hire based on merit. So merit for a soldier or for a policeman is strong, physically fit, something, you know, having a certain ability.
Have
Not
you
a person
seen
that
our
is
cops?
Woke. And
They're
got the
anything
job
but.
through woke, but wasn't strong enough to lift a gun out of the holster, et cetera, et cetera. No, I looked at the police. As you know, last week I went over, we had a meeting with, there had to be 300 people, and they were all very impressive looking. And when the bad guys see them, they're not going to do a thing. And so I'm very proud of Washington. It serves as a template, and we're going to do it elsewhere. But Chicago is certainly going to be high. I would love to have him call. I would love the governor of Illinois. I'd be honored to take his call. All he has to do is say, sir, we need help. It's out of control. And everyone knows it is. He's not kidding anyone. I would love to have, I would say, Governor Moore call, because I watched him over the weekend trying to explain that Baltimore, what they need is housing. No, they don't need housing. They need to get rid of the criminals. These are hardcore.
What do you mean? That's
criminals.
definitely.
You know, we took
every
many
city
people off
in
the
this
streets of
nation needs
Washington,
more
D.C.
housing.
They're hardcore.
What
They're
these
not gonna be
guys
good.
unironically
In 10
point to
years,
with like
in
a
20
rise in
years, in
crime
2 years, they're gonna
is
be
just a
criminals.
rise in
They were
homelessness.
born to be
And that is
criminals.
born out of
Frankly, they
housing
were
markets
born to
being
be
completely
criminals,
busted
and
in this
they're
goddamn
tough
country.
and mean,
That's it.
And they'll cut your throat, and they won't even think about it the next day. They won't even remember that they did it. And we're not going to have those people. Washington, D.C. is now a safe zone. It's a safe place. And you can walk, Katie, you can walk right down the street with, by the way, one of the biggest human beings I've ever seen, which is her husband. He was a football player for like 11 years in the NFL. He's a big person. But big doesn't mean anything when they have guns and when they have knives and everything else that they have, right? But you can walk right down the street, even by yourself, and you're totally safe. Washington, D.C. is a great thing. Yes, ma'am, please.
Mr. President, as you're calling on Democratic leaders across the country to work with you on crime, do you see your efforts here in D.C., including, for example, working with Mayor Bowser?
You have to realize, like, this is the logical conclusion of like the anti-crime and the anti-crime panic
So Mayor
that
Bowser's
Democrats also
been
leaned
great.
into. Like, of
She
course you're
could
going to
have
use the
taken
military
thing,
to
well,
stop crime. If
then
your
after I
only
clean it up,
way
they'll
of
take
lowering
credit for it.
crime
You know
rates
what
is
they
by
do is
like
they did it like,
incredible
we
amounts of
cleaned up
enforcement,
Los
militant
Angeles. We
enforcement,
did a
then
great
yeah,
job.
it's a
And
natural
it was
conclusion that you arrive
overwhelming
at.
what was going on.
And I will say, I
And
think a
again,
lot of
the police
Americans are just
chief
like completely
made a
oblivious to
statement.
how awful this shit is,
couldn't be a disaster.
especially
We
because these
stopped
are
it cold.
blue cities where
If we didn't
black
do
people
that,
live, and therefore it's
would have
not
been
their
a very
backyard,
sad
so they don't
day.
give a
And,
shit.
you know, remember, we have the Olympics, we have the World Cup, we have all these things coming, and we have 250, all of these things coming. But I watched Newsom get up and say he's doing a great. He's not. We're the ones that did it, and that's okay, whatever it takes. But the main thing is we. But he got up and said we did it. Well, he didn't want us there, and he's going to need us again because it's starting to form again. I see it. It's starting to form again.
What
we
is?
have to maintain. It's like maintenance on an airplane. You can buy it, but you have to maintain it. And if you don't maintain it, a good plane becomes very unsafe very quickly. So it's an honor to do it. It's a lot of presidents wouldn't do what I'm doing. I don't need this heat, but when I watched television last night, and
Yeah,
I'm
because
watching
it's
the news,
illegal,
and I
dude.
see
What the
that
fuck?
9 people were killed in Chicago, and 54 were badly wounded with bullets. I say, that's not this country. We have to do something. And I do say this, I say this very much. I'm not speaking to anybody but them right now. I would love to receive calls from governors and mayors saying they need help. We'll help them. We have a lot of people. We have a great force. We have a great military force. You know, Pete will tell you that when I was running for office, and this was a big headline, I think, you know, probably got me a couple of votes, but you couldn't sign people in the military. Nobody wanted to join the military, the Army, Air Force, the Navy, Marines, Space Force, Coast Guard. We never forget Coast Guard because they've done such a great job. Never. Nobody wanted to join any of them. We were way below what we wanted. Every single one. The closest was the Marines, whatever that is. You'll explain that to me. But the closest was the Marines. But every service was way down, way down. And then I got elected, and our country's the hottest country anywhere in the world right now. Everybody's talking about the USA. They're talking about the job that we're doing. Everybody. We have the best economy. We have a very, very important decision being made by the Supreme Court because our country is the richest, the strongest, the most powerful. But if for some reason some liberal court, I'm talking about the court that just ruled, where even an Obama judge voted in favor of us, which I gave him a compliment yesterday, as you know. I said that took great courage. But it's a liberal court, and it's going up to the Supreme Court, who I think have been incredible people. I think they've made very wise decisions. But the tariff question, because without the tariffs, this country is
got more powerful over the weekend, I feel like. He's just
$17 trillion
yapping.
of investment
Unlimited
is
yap
coming
attack.
in. Most of it is coming because of tariffs. And if for some reason somebody wanted to be politically correct, I actually think it's unpolitically correct. I think politically correct is to approve it because there's nothing so popular as what's happened to our country. Our country is doing so well. But we had a liberal court gave us a very shocking ruling. And that ruling is basically saying that the trillions of dollars that are pouring into our country, putting us in a position like no country is anywhere in the world, that they'd like to see us that taken away. By the way, a lot of the people behind that lawsuit, that particular, are from foreign countries. I might add.
There's a video that is circulating online now of the White House where a window is open to the residents upstairs and somebody is throwing a big bag out the window. Have you seen this?
No, that's probably AI generated.
So
Actually, you can't open the windows. You know why? They're all heavily armored and bulletproof.
So that's a fake video?
Well, it's got to be because I know every window up there. The last place I'd be doing it is that because there's cameras all over the place, right? Including yours. No, but every window, I've never seen a window that's, in fact, my wife was complaining about it the other day. She said, love to have a little fresh air come in, but you can't. They're bulletproof. And number one, they're sealed. And number two, each window weighs about 600 pounds. You have to be pretty strong to open them up. No, that has to be, where was the window? Let me see.
Maybe from the renovations.
Why is Peter Ducey walking up to the president?
On the
in the middle of a goddamn press conference and showing him photos off of his goddamn phone. Like, what level of unprecedented access does regime media have here? That's crazy.
It's the kind of thing they do. And one of the problems we have with AI, it's both good and bad. If something happens really bad, just blame AI. But also they create things, you know, it works both ways. If something happens that's really bad, maybe I'll have to just blame AI. But there's truth to it because I see so many phony things. I saw something as I was growing up, from the time I was a baby till now. I said, who did that? It was AI generated. So it's a little bit scary, to be honest with you. But those windows are all very heavily sealed.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to follow up with what you were saying regarding that federal appellate court that ruled against you and your administration as it relates to your ability.
Well, they ruled against our country, the court, and they ruled against us before. It's a very liberal court.
You called it highly partisan in your
Well, it
social
certainly
media
is. It certainly
And in
is.
fact, it was along ideological lines, 7-4.
Well, except that we actually got one of the Obama judges that was appointed by President Obama voted in favor of the tariffs because he felt it was imperative for our country to thrive and survive even. And I gave him credit. I said, you know what? That took a lot of courage for him to do it because you don't see that often.
So my question is, I suspect you're going to appeal that all the way to the Supreme Court.
Well, we already have, yeah. In fact, we're doing something else. We're going to be going to the Supreme Court, we think, tomorrow, because we need an early decision. I mean, look, the financial fabric of our country, we're a rich, incredible country right now, and we're able to, you know, other countries use tariffs on us for years, and we never did. I did a lot during my first term, but then we had COVID, and we had to focus on other things. You couldn't be tariffing Italy, Spain, France, as they were dying by the thousands and millions. But we did with China, and China paid us billions and billions of dollars. And I started the process, but then I had to end it a little bit because of COVID. We focused on that. But no, it's a very important decision. And frankly, if they make the wrong decision, it would be a devastation for our country. We've taken in
the video
trillions
Trump
of
was
dollars.
shown by douchey.
And by the way, all these countries signed agreements. As an example, they signed. They're all happy. Everybody's happy.
Oh, this is the objects being thrown out of the window
whack
shit.
job put in a lawsuit. It went before a very liberal court, and the liberal court ruled. It was 11. They ruled 7-4.
This is what a lot of people were asking yesterday as well.
One of the most
I didn't
liberal
see
of
it.
them all voting in our favor because they're patriots. I think I give tremendous credit to that judge. And now it's going to the Supreme Court. Now we're going to be asking for early admittance. We're going tomorrow, and we're going to ask for an expedited ruling because, you know, when you look at the stock market's down today, the stock market's down because of that. Because the stock market needs the tariffs. They want the tariffs. If you look at AI, all of those, you know, all of that money that's going to be invested, trillions and trillions of dollars, the biggest thing, bigger than the internet, I suspect. It's the internet plus 3 or 4 other things combined. We are leading very substantially with AI. We're leading because of tariffs. We're leading because of talent, and this is where they'd like to be. But without the tariffs, we wouldn't have a chance because we wouldn't be able to protect those investments of the companies coming in. So if you took away tariffs, we could end up being a third world country. That's how big the ruling. So we're asking for an expedited ruling.
As a backstop to that, President, you have a Republican-controlled Congress. You control the House. You control the Senate.
Yeah, but we don't have 60 votes. We don't have 60 votes.
You
I'd
don't
love to
think
do
you get
that.
enough
Oh,
votes?
if we had 60 senators, if we got the 60 votes, we would get them. But we need 60 votes, and we need, you know, a certain number in the House. We'd get. I think we'd get. I don't know. We have about 5 of them here. Would everybody agree with me on tariffs? Without tariffs, we're a different country. We have taken in so much money. And
We're going to talk about the attack on a
we
vessel
signed
by
a
the
deal
U.S.
with
Navy in
Japan.
a second
They're paying
after
us
this is done.
hundreds of billions of dollars. We signed a deal with South Korea.
Donald Trump
We
is
signed a
merging the
deal
war
with
on
the
terror with the
European
war on
Union.
drugs
We
in
signed
an
a
effort
deal
to, you know,
with Europe.
in an effort to expand the
those
permission
countries
structure
are
on
paying
what
us
the American government can and
$950
can't
billion
do. This is
and
probably
they're
like
happy
a
about it. They're
test for
okay.
what we want to do in
As
Mexico
one
as
of
well.
them
It's terrifying.
It's
We'll
amazing
get to
that
it
we
in a
got
little
away
bit.
with it so long. One of my friends, a leader of one of the countries, and they're fine with it. They all signed. If that ruling Everyone
war
against us.
maxing. Yeah, I
I
gotta
guess
pee.
would have to give back hundreds of billions. We would have to give trillions and trillions of dollars back to countries that have been ripping us off for the last 35 years. And I can't imagine it happening. On a legal basis, they have no legal basis whatsoever. But on a common sense basis, it would destroy America. Okay.
You talked about controlling the sky. On Sunday, the satellite signal of Ursula von der Leyen's plane was alleged.
With Ursula? Well, she had an interesting event. She's a tremendous woman. And so what are you asking me about her?
NATO is concerned about it, and too about this.
Sure, NATO is concerned about it. Well, nobody knows where it came from, but they did take away her ability to use a phone. You know? Sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes that could happen to me. I'd be very happy.
Mr. President, reducing the tariffs on India from 50%.
What does that mean?
Are you considering taking away some of the tariffs that you've imposed on India? You had posted.
No, we get along with India very well, but India has, you have to understand, for many years it was a one-sided relationship. Only now, since I came along, and because of the power that we have with tariffs, India was charging us tremendous tariffs, about the highest in the world. They were about the highest in the world, number one. And we therefore weren't doing much business with India, but they were doing business with us because we weren't charging them. Foolishly, we weren't charging them. So they would send in massive, everything they made, they'd send it in, pour it into our country. Therefore, it wouldn't be made here, which is a negative. But we would not send in anything because they were charging us 100% tariffs. And, I'll give you an example, Harley-Davidson. Harley-Davidson couldn't sell into India. There was a 200% tariff on a motorcycle. So what happens? Harley-Davidson went to India and built a motorcycle plant.
You know what's really funny about this?
And now they don't have to pay tariffs. Same thing
American
as us.
manufacturing is
what
so
we're doing
limited
is,
that he has to talk about Harley
literally
Davidson
thousands
motorcycles.
of companies
That's how
are coming
little
into the
domestic
US,
manufacturing we
car
have.
companies,
That's
AI,
how limited
but,
our
more traditionally, car
domestic
companies. We have
manufacturing
so many
industry
car company
is.
factories
That it's like
for
F-150s,
being designed
Harley
right now.
Davidson,
And they're
poultry,
coming from China,
meat.
I must
That's
tell you,
it.
and they're coming from Canada. But they're coming into our country because they want to build here. And they want to build here for two reasons. Number one, they'd like to be here.
And
And number
drones?
two,
No, we don't even
the
have
tariffs
drones
are
that
protecting them. And number
we have
three,
some drones, but it's
they want to
mostly
avoid
just like
paying
drones
tariffs
for
when they
war.
build their cars here.
China has a damn near monopoly on the drone market. I mean, DJI is like literally, 90% of all drones, like all commercial drones?
After the Minnesota shooting last week, the Department of Homeland Security is now awarding more than $100 million to hundreds of faith organizations across the country to help them ramp up security. What's your vision for further protecting religious liberty across the country amid incidents of threats and
So
violence?
religious liberty is so important. And we're talking about every religion now. And we're doing things on that nobody else has ever done. And we're going to be having a big announcement in about 2 weeks on that question. Yeah, please.
On Space Command, sir, are you concerned that people may not be willing to relocate from Colorado to Alabama?
No, I'm not worried. It will get somebody else. I mean, the problem with Colorado is they have a very corrupt voting system. Look, I have so many friends in Colorado. Anytime you have mail-in voting, you have corrupt elections. Very simple.
Again, he's a Floridian. He votes by mail. Okay, Utah also universal mail-in ballots. Like there are plenty of red states that have, just like Colorado, universal mail-in ballots. The notion that this is like somehow illegal or improper is ridiculous. He has voted by mail virtually every election. I am losing my mind. Why does no one turn around and go, Mr. President, you vote by mail all the time? Mr. President, there are plenty of red states that also have universal ballot access and vote by mail.
They're no good at
Are those states where there's just no fraud happening? Is it only the blue states where fraud is happening? What's going on with this?
Obviously, this is a big win for national security, moving this to Alabama. We've all can agree with that.
Big.
Is there any idea of the economic impact this has on the state and on that local area?
Katie, do you want to answer that?
Look, I mean, this. Go ahead, George.
Please go.
This is going to be tremendous. I mean, the state of Alabama, what we've seen through this process is the worst of Washington. We've seen politics get in the way of what is best for the warfighter, what's best for national security. And the state of Alabama is about to show the country the best among us. So we know the economic impact is going to be tremendous. There at Redstone Arsenal, we're proud to house everything from
No, they're not going to cut universal mail-in ballots from Utah. They're not going to. They're not targeting. They're doing state-specific targeting because they just want to limit access in blue states with the hopes that this will boost like the proportional voting of Republicans in said blue states.
That's why
that's what it's always been about.
It's because we have the resources necessary and the
Republicans have always actively created a hysteria, a panic around this ridiculous notion that there are fraudulent voters. There are fake votes, okay? It's not real. American elections are incredibly secure, okay? And there are a million different studies that have been conducted on this from Republican groups as well that also prove that American elections have been incredibly secure.
About addressing an emergency.
But as is the case, with everything else, they just like make shit up.
We need a
they
little
lie,
help from the
they
Fed.
create panic around it, and then they have to solve it by
Jerome Too Late Powell.
shutting off access to voting, making it as difficult as possible.
And the economy is so strong that it's pushing through that. Normally, it would have been much tougher, but we're doing so well that we're pushing through it. But it makes it very hard for people to get mortgages because too late is too late. Very simple. He's too late. And probably political, whatever. He wasn't too late before the election. Before the election, he was cutting rates, right? Because he was hoping that, I guess, Biden would get in or that Kamala would. He was a big Biden guy. Explain that one. And then he was a Kamala person. But he was hoping, I guess, she'd win, I guess. I don't know. It didn't work out too well. But, yeah, we need a very serious cut. You know, I think that if you look back many decades ago, the United States was always the lowest, even if they were doing badly. The United States was, because without the United States, everything in the world would die. It's true. It's so powerful. It's so big. And I made it really big in the first 4 years. Then it started to degenerate with what this Biden administration did. But we built it up to a level that I never thought we could be at this quickly. We're the hottest, we're the best financially. The money coming in is so big because of tariffs and other things, but because of tariffs. Tariff gets us even those other things. Plus, it gets us great negotiating. I settled 7 wars, and numerous of those wars were because of trade. And numerous of the trade deals that I made were because of tariffs. It gives you a great negotiating ability. If that ability were taken away from us by a liberal court acting on essentially foreign nations, asking to get help from the United States government, when they've been doing this to us for 40 years. That's why we have $38 trillion in debt. We won't have it for long if they let us, if they allow us to do what everybody knows we should be able to do. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, another Biden-era action that you're now reversing is that you signed a deal last week to make federal buildings adopt and embrace classical architecture styles again. Can you talk to us about why you do that and also what's your vision?
Well, we want to see beautiful buildings. Now, you know, it's in the eye of the beholder. I've seen architectural reviews over the years. I'm an expert at it. I've gotten a lot of great reviews. But I've seen buildings that I didn't think were very good get great reviews, and I've seen great buildings get bad reviews. So, but it's just a standard. We want to have a good standard. We're building something here. You know, for 150 years, they wanted a ballroom at the White House. We're doing something at the highest level, using great architects and all. And, you know, it's very exciting. But we have a lot of interesting things happening architecturally in D.C. And D.C. is like a different place. And, you know, even the contractor said, sir, we walked down today, we feel like much safer. It's like a different place. Washington, D.C. is great. Now, we're going to also beautify it. We're going to put a topping on the roads. We're not going to rip them apart and take 4 years to build a road that was exactly the same by the time you build it. But we're going to put toppings. We're going to put new medians in. We're going to get the graffiti off. We're going to put tiles up in the tunnels where the tiles are missing. We'll do the whole tunnel instead of, you know, a little area where you see new tiles, old tiles that never look too good. But they could use it. You know, they've been up for 50 years. They've served their duty. But we're going to make this within about a 20-mile radius from the White House. we're going to have this place spick and span. It's going to be crime-free, and it's going to be spick and span. It's going to be, you'll be proud of Washington again. Go ahead, please.
Sir, China's having a massive military parade that President Putin and Kim Jong-un will be attending. Do you interpret that as a challenge to this? And are you concerned at all about those countries trying to be some sort of counterweight?
Not at all. China needs us, and I have a very good relationship with President Xi, as you know, but China needs us much more than we need them. No, I don't see that at all, no.
China parade 7 p.m.
And I had actually a very good meeting with President Putin a couple of weeks ago. We'll see if anything comes out of it. If it doesn't, we'll take a different stance.
President March today in California ruled that your deployment of National Guard troops to Los Angeles was illegal. Do you have any response?
Well, it was a radical left judge, but very importantly, what did you not tell me in that question or statement that you made? Pretty much of a statement, I think.
Well, I was asking for your response.
No, you didn't say what the judge said.
Parade mog.
The judge said, but you can leave the 300 people that you already have in place. They can continue to be in place. That's all we need. But why didn't you put that as part of your statement? Because the same judge ruled exactly as you said, except the judge said that you could leave the 300 people that you already have in place. They can stay, they can remain, they can do what they have to do. Thank you very much, everybody. We appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Thanks, press. Thank you.
Okay, what do we learn from that? As I said, 1, evil never dies. 2, all of your hopes and your wishes of evil meeting divine intervention only powers these demons, okay? It makes them more powerful than ever before. 3, Donald Trump is in tip-top shape, it seems. And I don't know. I don't know what the health complications of the health scare looked like over the weekend. I certainly do believe that there was something going on. I mean, he doesn't just stop appearing on camera for an extended period of time for no reason. And of course, that's not going to stop me from continuing to hyper scrutinize every single thing that he does and says. Okay. 15,000 people left after they saw him be alive. Yeah, I know. People came in. They thought they were going to see a clone of Donald Trump. When they saw that it was just Trump, they left. They were like, this sucks.
Or taking questions from reporters. There's been a lot of questions out there swirling around. I'm doing a favor for those who voted for the president. We'll get into the politics and the national security. He talked about interest rates. He talked about tariffs. He also talked about the National Guard on the streets of Los Angeles. You know, we've talked about that lawsuit where a federal judge.
Fox News is live. Let's take a look at their live reactions to Donald Trump being alive and well. They're probably doing victory laps here, because the bar is very low for Fox News.
He also talked at length in his comments at the top, and then he went back around to this issue as well with regard to D.C. and the crime crackdown. With regard to Chicago, he said, we're going in. He said, we have every right to go in. He didn't say when that would happen, but he said.
I do think it's messed up that when Donald Trump says he's going to do something, he usually does follow through on it, no matter how far-fetched it comes across as initially. And things that were simply ideas or jokes even a couple of months ago become reality. Military deployment was something that a lot of people said would be unconscionable, illegal, unconstitutional. Now it's happening all around. It happened in the Capitol. Now he wants to do it in Chicago. Okay? This spells trouble for some of the other things that he has mentioned, like being a dictator, for example, or even joking about with Vladimir Zelensky, even joking about like, oh, you don't have to have an election if you have a war. That's good to know. Ha, ha, ha. That type of shit is not just like something that Donald Trump is just throwing out there for no reason. Okay? It means that there's at least a little bit of ambition in that direction. It's terrifying to think of, but, you know, something that you should expect.
I'd say about 50 minutes. It started about 10 minutes before we came on the air here. So let's bring in Joey Jones, retired Marine Corps Staff Sergeant and Fox News contributor. Tommy Lahren, host of Tommy Lahren is Fearless on Outkick and a Fox News contributor, and joining us right now. Thank you very much. Joey Jones, Tommy Lahren, and Jose Aristimuño. Good to have all of you with us. Joey Jones, let me start with you, if I may. You know, we're just getting a few little details about this Venezuelan operation, but we knew that there had been U.S. presence in the area and that the goal of that U.S. presence was to disrupt drug cartel activity coming out of Maduro's Venezuela. So what's your reaction as we start to get a little bit of detail on what happened here with this drug cartel boat that's been hit by U.S. forces, according to this?
Of course, my first reaction is obviously that's not a president that's sick or dying like we've heard for a couple of days. He's got a lot going on, and he just told us about it.
No surprise there.
If
he took a half a day off, it's like, where is he, right? Oh, there must be something wrong. And as you pointed out,
funny.
Biden would be missing in action for days
He's
and
so
weeks on
old,
end.
though, even with good health. Has he even got a full 10 years left? Dude, what do you mean? These guys literally lived to 150, okay? I understand. This man has only lived on a diet of Diet Coke and McDonald's burgers. His arteries are just lard. It's more lard than there's blood pumping through his veins. Okay? I don't know how it works, but it works. This man unironically thinks he has a finite amount of energy in his body. He believes in the battery principle, that the human body is like a battery, and every single exercise that you engage with is actually shortening your lifespan. That's how insane he is. That's how unimaginably dumb this man is. That's how little he cares about his own personal health. But it doesn't matter. Okay? It reminds me of my grandfather, who obviously wasn't an evil man like Donald Trump is, but he smoked cigarettes, drank alcohol every day, and ate the worst food known to man. He lived till 92. That's just how it is. For some people, they just don't, they just kick the bucket at like 92 plus, even when they do all of the wrong things. Okay? And it seems to me like Donald Trump is one of those guys. He just has that, Then you got people who try to, health max to the best of their ability and try to do all the right things, and then they pass away from cancer or some shit like that.
What I heard from our president is, I want to partner with you. I want you to call me. I want you to ask me for my help, and I will gladly assist, because it is not inevitable. It is not inherent that we should have any city in America that is unsafe, where you have multiple shootings and multiple deaths over a holiday weekend. That is not inherent or inevitable. I want to help you. So now the ball is in the court for these governors and these mayors. Do you want help? Do you want to put your egos and your presidential ambitions aside and protect your constituents?
Dude, what happened to Tommy Lauren's nose? That's crazy.
Your choice to make.
Jose, it's so politically
what a career fall off.
This back and forth.
Tommy Lauren was like the top conservative pundit back when I was blowing up by actively criticizing all the dumb shit that she was saying in the first Trump administration. Her career she got back pocketed by Fox and has never recovered. Hasan Reaction is one of the best ones in the React channel.